October 7th left Israel reeling. Today the IDF fires senior commanders, censures top brass, and admits, "We failed to protect our citizens." Decades of service can't shield them from accountability. Trust, command, and credibility are on the line. Can Israel rebuild its military after the day that shook the nation? Israel's military leadership has entered a period of intense reckoning following a dramatic announcement on Sunday evening. IDF Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Eyal Zamir revealed he is dismissing several senior commanders and formally censuring others over their roles in the failures surrounding the Hamas attack of October 7, 2023. The decision follows months of mounting pressure for accountability and comes after an independent panel of former senior military officials identified deep failures across intelligence, planning, and operational preparedness. Earlier in the day, Zamir summoned top IDF commanders for private meetings to personally deliver the news. Lower-ranking officers were called in separately by Deputy Chief of Staff Major General Tamer Yardai. Significantly, most of the officers who were removed had already resigned from the military. Addressing the nation in a video statement, Zamir acknowledged the gravity of the decision and the toll it takes within the military ranks.
It is not easy to make decisions that impact people I value and who have dedicated their lives to the security of the state, people with whom I have fought for decades. Alongside this, before my eyes stands the obligation to draw a clear line for command responsibility. This is not a responsibility we choose to take upon ourselves, but one we bear by virtue of being commanders in the IDF.
He warned that the consequences of avoiding accountability would be far more dangerous for Israel's future.
If we do not sharpen the meaning of responsibility, trust in the system will erode, and that trust is the foundation of our ability to fight, to win, and to defend the state of Israel.
Zamir emphasized that the decision did not diminish the accomplishments of the officers involved. The disciplinary move follows nearly a year of public frustration and emotional calls from families of victims and survivors demanding answers. Among the most notable decisions is the dismissal from reserve duty of several high-ranking officers who had already stepped down in recent months. These include former Military Intelligence Directorate Chief Major General Aharon Haliva, former Operations Directorate Chief Major General Oded Basyuk, and former Southern Command Chief Major General Yaron Finkelman. All three will no longer serve in any reserve capacity. Current Military Intelligence Directorate head Major General Shlomi Binder, who played a central role on the day of the attack as Chief of the Operations Division, was formally censured but will remain in post until the scheduled end of his tenure in 2028. After that, he plans to retire at his own request. Israeli Air Force Chief Major General Tomer Bar was also censured for failing to prevent the aerial component of the Hamas assault, which included paragliders and explosive drones. He will continue in his role until April 2026. Israeli Navy Chief Vice Admiral David Sar Salama faced censure as well for the failure to block Hamas's seaborne infiltration attempt, but he is set to finish his term within months. Several other senior and mid-level commanders were dismissed from reserve duty entirely, including Brigadier General Gimel, who led the Military Intelligence Operational Division, former Unit 8200 Commander Brigadier General Yossi Sariel, former Gaza Division Commander Brigadier General Avi Rosenfeld, and former Southern Command Intelligence Chief Colonel Ariel Lubovsky, who had previously been removed in March 2024 due to an inappropriate relationship with a subordinate officer. Colonel Haim Cohen, commander of the Gaza Division's Northern Brigade on October 7th, will also be dismissed from reserve service. Additionally, Lieutenant Colonel Aleph, the Gaza Division intelligence officer at the time of the attack, will be ousted from the army. Zamir made it clear that some officers should not be blocked from advancement, ruling that promotions should proceed for Brigadier General Eliad Moati, Brigadier General Mana Yanai, and Colonel Ephraim Avni. Speaking after delivering his decisions, Zamir addressed the core findings of the investigative process.
My conclusions present an unequivocal picture. The IDF failed in its principal mission on October 7th to protect the citizens of the State of Israel. This is a severe, resounding, and systemic failure that relates to decisions and conduct before and during the event. The lessons of that day are many and important, and they must serve as our compass for the future.
He expressed determination to act decisively while balancing internal pressures and external threats.
This decision is complex and derives from my responsibility to balance systemic and command considerations with the needs of the IDF in a volatile period with threats on all fronts.
Zamir closed his speech with a personal pledge.
I will continue to lead the IDF in the light of truth and out of responsibility and devotion to the mission.
The disciplinary action follows weeks of intense criticism directed at the Army's internal investigations. The initial inquiries, led by former Chief of Staff Haliva, were widely viewed as inadequate. One of Zamir's first moves after assuming his post in March was appointing an independent review panel to examine the investigation process itself. Last week, that panel determined that most of the IDF's internal probes were incomplete and failed to meet acceptable standards. The coming months will determine whether Zamir's actions signal the beginning of a deeper reform process or mark a symbolic gesture that falls short of the public's demands. For now, the dramatic removal and censure of senior military figures marks the most significant attempt to date to confront the systemic collapse of October 7th. Israel's military is attempting to rebuild trust, restore credibility, and prepare for a dangerously uncertain future.